Joseph and Malchut. Yesod, Joseph and David, Yesod and Malchut. The quality of Yesod, bonding, is characterized by intense and pleasurable immersion in an activity. Yesod fosters rapid progress and prolific high-quality contributions in one's field, making others in the field seem comparatively static and lifeless. It's intense and pleasurable immersion in an activity that is Yesod. Yesod transforms the mind into a vortex that pulls everything a person experiences toward facilitating the Yesod-driven interest. Yesod is bonding, complete immersion in an activity. Yosef personifies Yesod. The name Yosef is related to the word Hosafa, Lohosif, Asifa, Hosafa, adding, Lohosif, to add, Asifa, gathering, Asifa. Both concepts are directly related to Yesod, which gathers the flow from the qualities above it and channels it into Malchut, the lowest quality. Furthermore, the union of Yesod with Malchus adds spiritual energy into the cosmos. These aspects of Yesod may be understood with the qualities expression in a person. Strong interest in an activity calls forth and gathers one's diverse powers, intellectual, emotional, and physical, which greatly enhances one's performance. Such focus also elicits mental creativity in a manner analogous to how the consuming pleasure of the sexual act activates physiological creativity. The episode in Joseph's life further illustrates this link to Yesod. First, Yosef progressed astonishingly fast. He leapt from wasting away in a dungeon, the bottom of the Egyptian social strata, to become viceroy of Egypt, second only to Pharaoh. Yosef was also a skilled dream interpreter, coalescing fragmented images into a meaningful whole. As viceroy, he arranged the gathering and storage of grain, just as he gathered and dispersed elements in the metaphysical world of dreams. So he gathered dispersed elements in the physical world. Significantly, the Torah specifically depicts Joseph as undergoing sexual temptation. Finally, Joseph named his son Ephraim, connoting fruitfulness in reference to his time spent in Egypt. Malchut, royalty, involves reciprocity between a king and his subjects. A king receives his authority from the people, who appoint him as king and submit to him. The king responds by devoting himself to the well-being of his subjects. Both parties must humbly surrender themselves for Malchut to exist. Hence, when a subject enters before his king, he prostrates, lowering his feet toward his head toward his feet, to imply that his entire being, including his head, is like a pair of feet, ready to fulfill the king's orders without question. On the other hand, lavished with honor and prestige, a king may grow arrogant and abuse his power. In order to prevent this from occurring, he is required to maintain profound humility before God. Furthermore, a king's devotion to his people is proportionate to his self-abnegation before God. For as open as a vessel is to receive, is it open to dispense. The biblical character identified with Malchut is David HaMelech, King David. The name David consists of the letters Dalet, Vav, and another Dalet. Dalet connotes both emptiness and exaltedness, while Vav is employed for conjunction. In Hebrew grammar, combined together in the name David, these letters signify the unity between the antithetical states of emptiness and exaltedness. This is precisely the nature of Malchut, for a king is simultaneously empty of his own power, receiving it from his subjects, yet he is also exalted above them. King David openly expressed his sense of emptiness before God when he proclaimed, "For everything is from you, and from your own hand we have given to you." He felt that everything he is and all that he possesses is a gift from God. Two types of imbalance generally affect Yesod: the spillage of its intense and potent life energy into unsavory channels, typically the preoccupation or even obsession with material pleasures, particularly the sexual. The rainbow effect. White light contains all the colors of the spectrum in an undifferentiated state, rendering the colors invisible. However, when the light hits a denser substance, such as a cloud, it splits into distinct colors. This phenomenon has its parallel in the human psyche. Each individual possesses potential within their spirit to make a significant and unique contribution to the betterment of the world. However, like colors in white light, this potential is initially indiscernible within the person. By cultivating Yesod in a particular field, bonding, intense and pleasurable immersion in an activity, one begins to express his potential in concrete terms. Your potential in concrete terms can be expressed through cultivating Yesod, which means to completely immerse yourself in a given project, an activity, some discipline. Immerse yourself completely. Allow yourself to bond and to use all your powers to immerse yourself in this activity. And the complete immersion and commitment to said activity will summon all your intellectual, emotional, and spiritual powers to assist. And you will begin to express your potential in concrete terms when you completely immerse yourself. Immersion. Bonding. For instance, a philosopher may convey his thoughts in writing. An artist may capture her creative talent on canvas. The businessman may exhibit managerial and negotiation skills at the workplace. The person's inner beauty is thus revealed and reflects back at the person who, on becoming aware of his own abilities, may become self-absorbed and narcissistic. Yosef exhibited the first Yesod imbalance when he almost succumbed to the allure of Potiphar's, his master's wife. It was Yaakov's image appearing to him that fortified him to withstand the temptation. Yosef exhibited the second imbalance after his appointment as head of Potiphar's estate, where he became preoccupied with his own appearance. Imbalance of Malchut may result in lifeless and perfunctory fulfillment of one's obligations and commitments. Malchut is the sense of obedience, is the basis of divine service, the gateway to a higher level of consciousness. However, excessive attachment to Malchut may prevent one from tapping the pleasure, vitality, and spontaneity associated with Yesod. This imbalance is apparent in King David's life, for according to tradition, he was supposed to have been a stillborn. It was Adam, Avraham, Yaakov, and Yosef who combined their soul energies and granted David 70 years of life. Now, what is a stillborn? It is a body without a soul, a plan without a motivating drive, obedience without passion. It is Malchut, detached from Yesod. No wonder we proclaim, David Melech Yisrael Chai V'Kayam, David the King of Israel should live and endure, since a lack of vitality is associated with excessive attachment to Malchut. One can rectify Yesod spillage, i.e. excessive immersion in something becoming narcissistic and self-centered, self-absorbed narcissism, if you become completely immersed in something in a pleasurable way and you find self-expression, you find excellence and fulfillment in that, person can become self-absorbed narcissistic. And the way to resolve that from the inside, the sphera directly above Yesod in the middle pillar is Tiferet, spiritual beauty. This suggests that Yesod gravitates toward the aesthetically pleasing, analogous to the more base relationship between beauty and sexual attraction. Thus, by contemplating Kabbala, Yesod is aroused by its elegant celestial imagery and yearns for attachment, leaving material attachments behind. This process involves the elevation of Yesod energy. This is the technique Yosef employed in his efforts to overcome the blandishments of Potiphar's wife. For as mentioned, it was Yosef's image representing, it was Yaakov's image representing Tiferet that fortified Yosef. Thus, the deeper meaning of this episode is that when Yosef felt his Yesod attraction gravitate toward physical beauty, he contemplated the blending and interconnecting of the Sfirot, spiritual beauty, which redirected his Yesod yearning toward the divine, allowing him to transcend his urge to sin. From the outside, the Sephira directly below Yesod in the middle pillar is Malchut. As mentioned, Malchut involves accepting the yoke of heaven, undertaking to fulfill the commandments of Torah as a subject obeys his king. The attainment of such unquestioning obedience and submission to authority helps one circumscribe and direct Yesod energy exclusively towards spiritual and constructive activities. Ideally, both methods should be followed to tackle this Yesod imbalance: regular attachment to divine beauty through the study of Kabbala, and training oneself to remain submissive before the Supreme Sovereign. Meanwhile, the second imbalance of Yesod, the rainbow effect, is countered by realizing that one's intellectual, emotional, and physical abilities, as well as the time and the freedom to use them, are all endowed by God Almighty. In fact, without God's contribution to our existence, we would be empty and naught. We would not exist. This awareness parallels the condition of Malchut in the absence of the contribution offered it by the Sefirot above it. With this awareness, an individual can be applauded with a standing ovation for his talents without it going to his head. He may even clap along with the audience in praise of the true source of his talent. In short, Malchut can help shield a person from the narcissistic tendency associated with Yesod imbalance. However, when attachment to Malchut becomes excessive, and the passion, vitality, and spontaneity associated with Yesod are inhibited, three basic methods are available to kindle or fan Yesod. 1. Developing one's ability to concentrate for Yesod activation is dependent on Das. This is evident in the fact that the male reproductive organ is actively activated specifically when one concentrates, applies, Da'at on the opposite gender. Contemplating the value and overall beauty of a goal for Yesod, as mentioned, draws after Tiferet. Setting clear goals and deadlines, this increases one's focus and overall intensity. In addition, the anticipation of completing a goal, especially when close, usually evokes excitement. Yesod is thus referred to as the culmination of the body because it is associated with completion and fulfillment. The Sphira table, Chachma, wisdom, Adam, the imbalance, the biblical figure is Adam. The imbalance is waste of mental creativity or information. Rectification is exercising Bina. Sphira Bina, understanding, biblical figure Eve. Imbalance is convoluted reasoning. Rectification of imbalance, submission to Chachma. Da'at, concentration. Adam, Yada, Nu, Chava. Imbalance, short attention span. Rectification of imbalance, exercising Da'at, calming or rousing emotional excitement, cultivating Tiferet. Chesed, kindness. Avraham, imbalance is permissiveness. Rectification is cultivation of Gevurah. Gevurah, strength. Biblical figure, Isaac. Imbalance can lead to anger or cruelty. Rectification, cultivation of Chesed. Tiferet, balance, beauty. Biblical figure, Yaakov. Imbalance, emotional instability, split personality. Or, with Tiferet, it's just a lack. A lack of Tiferet caused the imbalance. Rectification is strengthening of Da'at. Which means exercising Da'at. Netzach, victory. Biblical figure Moshe. Imbalance, manipulation, insensitivity. Netzach is about getting it done. Rectification, cultivation of Hod. Hod, surrender. Aaron is biblical figure. Imbalance, surrender, naivety, defeatism. Rectification of imbalance, cultivation of Netzach. Yesod, foundation. Biblical figure Yosef. Imbalance, obsession, narcissism, being too involved in something to the exclusion of all else. Rectification, development of Malchut, which means bittul, dedication to the mission and the orders of God. Commandments. Malchut, sovereignty. Biblical figure David. Imbalance, perfunctory and robotic behavior, doing what you're meant to do, even if you're dead inside. Rectification of imbalance, cultivation of Yesod, which is immersion in something with passion and intensity. Fine.